Good morning to you, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your off-season edition of the Hurricane Outlook and discussion continuing as I cover this winter storm, also known as Winter Storm Jonas, as named by the Weather Channel. Remember, the National Weather Service doesn't name winter storms as of yet. This is a Weather Channel thing, but it works. I think it keeps people aware of what's going on, and I think there is validity to naming some of the more powerful winter storms anyway. And this one is named Jonas by the Weather Channel, so I'm going to use that just for consistency. And so what we have here is the national map. You can clearly see a litany of different watches and warnings, advisories, etc. for a good deal of the eastern United States. Certainly the southeast and Florida, the extreme southeast here, the deep south we'll call it, not too bad. Although parts of northeast Arkansas, northwest Mississippi here, and then all of Tennessee, the western Carolinas here, this part of Dixie as we call it, in some areas. Ice storm possibility, freezing rain, sleet, snow, power outages are going to be a big problem. This is going to be a very disruptive storm, not a very intense storm as far as the pressure goes, but a very large, sprawling storm that's going to take a while to get out of the picture, so to speak. And so that's going to create a lot of problems for a lot of people. It's starting to come together now. Frozen precip here in the western parts of Tennessee and northeastern Arkansas. Severe weather in the warmer sector in Louisiana. This was tornado warned earlier. Hail associated with it. This just shows you the upper dynamics with this system. A lot of energy in the atmosphere, and this radar will certainly begin to light up to points further to the east over time. The North Carolina mountains here up into Virginia, and then into the Piedmont area, including Metro Charlotte, could see some rather unpleasant ice accretion as the storm moves in, and you have snow to begin with, and then maybe a changeover to sleet, freezing rain, maybe back to snow at times. The problem is the air column isn't sufficiently cold all the way through to get just snow. I think most people would rather have just snow as opposed to, I mean, this goes without saying, sleet and freezing rain. I mean, that's, to me, that is like the worst weather you can have, because you can't drive in it at all. It's just extremely hazardous, and it just makes everything glazed over. It causes power outages, and it's just no good. It's useless in terms of exciting weather. You might as well just have it all snow. Unfortunately, in some of these areas here, you're going to see some ice accretion problems that will create power outages and make travel just not recommended. And then later on, through the coming 72 hours, this entire region will start to fill in with the radar returns, and the storm we call Jonas here, Weather Channel named it Jonas, is going to be a big, big problem. So quiet now. Thursday's the quiet day. After this, it goes downhill from there. One look at the snowfall. This is from the Weather Prediction Center, 72-hour accumulation in inches. This will change. This is just based on the latest of the model runs. It's going to be subject to change for sure. Hard to say exactly where the bullseye is going to be, but for the last few days, it's been trying to paint in, I say it being the conglomeration of most of the reliable global models, really centering in on northern Virginia, western Maryland, and the little arm here of West Virginia. Some cases 3 feet of snow possible. The DC area could get hit with more than 20 inches of snow. It's really going to have to come down to where the largest area of what we call QPF, or quantitative precipitation, which is a forecast, QPF forecast, how much moisture is in the air with the cold air in place. And if that gets wrung out, as the models have been seeing, then the bullseye of very heavy snow will be up here in the northern parts of Virginia. And then down into the Carolina mountains, very heavy snow is possible here, and even spreading into the Piedmont, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, even the Raleigh-Durham area, the Triangle, not out of the question to see some measurable snow. Finally, a lot of people wondering what's going to happen up here in the Philadelphia, New York City area up towards Boston. I think Boston's pretty clear of getting very heavy snow out of this. New York City, Manhattan area, it's still, I won't call it 50-50. It's hard to put a number on it precisely, but any deviation north of this snow shield, if you will, of the very heavy snow, and New York and Long Island, especially western Long Island, could get socked. So it's still far enough out in time, 2 to 3 days away, that enough can change that Manhattan could get blitzed. We'll just have to wait and see. But this is what it looks like as of now. Keep paying attention to your local weather outlets, and the Weather Channel will do a fantastic job as well in terms of a national picture. But for local information, your local Weather Service office at weather.gov, and of course your TV and radio outlets will provide you with the very latest. The other issue, certainly, and I want to talk about this too real quick, this green color, you don't see it very often. Those are blizzard watches. Very concerned about that. First of all, a blizzard doesn't necessarily take into account how much snow falls. You could have 45 inches of snow come straight down with 5-mile-per-hour wind, and it wouldn't be a blizzard. So the main criteria is the wind blowing like 35 miles per hour for several hours consistently while the snow is falling. That's generally how to look at it. It's a blizzard where it's whiteout conditions, blowing snow, and it doesn't necessarily have to in other words, you could have 3 inches of snow accumulate, but if it's blowing around, how do you measure it, right? The main thing is the very strong wind, and that could be a possibility in the Baltimore-Washington area, and then maybe up here on parts of Long Island and back into New York and across the river there into New Jersey. Speaking of New Jersey, this is where this region right through here, the greatest risk of storm surge and damaging ocean effects will be. Zoom in just a little here. You can look at the forecast for this region. We're talking from Belmar, New Jersey, down through Seaside Heights, Atlantic City, Cape May, Lewes, Delaware, Brigantine, you name it. The areas that were hit hard by Sandy could receive a top 10 ocean storm event from this particular storm, Jonas here, Winter Storm Jonas, because not of the intensity of it necessarily, but because of the large fetch of wind. And we look at some of the wind in here, 41 miles per hour tomorrow night, and then on Saturday, winds as high as 55 miles per hour down here close to Atlantic City, and in the southern and southwest parts of New Jersey, the storm surge risk is definitely there. 3, maybe 4 feet coming in on high tide. There could be ocean overwash across all of the counties in New Jersey along the coast. But really the southern areas here towards Delaware Bay, the highest risk of major flooding where we actually have structural damage and the possibility of people having to evacuate. It's still just enough too early to really know exactly where those areas could be, and that threat could spread more to the north from here towards the New York Bight, okay, what we call the New York Bight area, Sandy Hook, Belmar, and those areas right now not looking too bad, but that could change. The highest risk as of this morning is really to the southern part of the New Jersey coastline and then back along the southwest part of the Delaware Bay. So keep on top of this. You can go to weather.gov, put in your zip code, any of these cities and boroughs in here, and you can get the information. And you can also scroll down once you click on a certain area and see the forecast discussion if you want to read a technical detail of what they're expecting from the Weather Service office, and in this case, it's coming out of the Philadelphia Mount Holly area. That's right here, the forecast discussion. You want to read that. It gives you a good in-depth look at what's going on. I'm going to be heading out into it later today. I'm going to be going up towards the Belmar, New Jersey area to basically set up there and then figure out where to place my cameras. These are just some archived videos that play on the live feeds when there's nothing going on. I'll have the vehicle everywhere cam going, literally goes wherever I do. And then I'm actually going to have a camera set up in the North Carolina mountains, another one in Long Island. These cameras are so small I can send them to people and they'll set them up. And then I'm going to have 3 with me, cameras 3, 4, and 5, that I'll set up and maybe even a sixth one somewhere along the New Jersey coastline, and that'll be at hurricanetrack.com/live once everything's running. And I should start the cameras up probably sometime tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see what happens. Could be incredible. The ability to place these cameras right at the coastline, and they're protected with these military spec cases, very small, only about 5 pounds, and really come a long way with the technology with this. They have full audio, and I intend to put these right there on the ocean front in New Jersey, spanning from Belmar southward as far as I can get, to reasonably set these up in time for the storm to unfold. So check that out. I'll be mentioning it on social media throughout the event in case you forget. hurricanetrack.com/live is the link. And yes, you may share that with anybody you wish. No problem at all. All right? Well, that is the last video discussion of a recorded nature. Once I am driving later today, once in a while I can do video updates and whatnot from my iPad live as I travel, and then I'll do more of that tomorrow in New Jersey and give you live looks and post some stuff on social media as well. All right, well, if you're out there in the storm and you're going to be in the path of it, please stay safe. Winter weather can be exciting, but it can also be very dangerous, and we don't want anybody to, we certainly don't want any loss of life. The property damage can be fixed, but if you do something dumb and you get injured or killed, that's no good. Then the weather doesn't become exciting and fun anymore, it becomes tragic, and we don't want that to happen. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Thanks as always for tuning in. I'm Mark Sudduth for hurricanetrack.com, and I'll see you from somewhere in New Jersey later on tonight and tomorrow.